Hi Lauren, I'm Allie. I'm going to be your nurse today, and I'm just going to teach you how to do your insulin injections. What can you tell me about diabetes?
I know my pancreas isn't working right, so I know that I need to have insulin, inject myself with insulin in order for that to start working properly again.
Okay, yep. Have you been taught how to do the insulin injections before?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay, well that's what we're going to be doing today.
Awesome.
What you're going to need is you're going to need some alcohol swabs to clean off the top of your vials.
Okay.
And for the type of insulin your doctor wants you to have, you're going to have 1 vial of regular insulin, which is your clear, and 1 vial of cloudy insulin, which is MPH and has proteins in it.
Okay.
And an insulin syringe, and make sure it's an insulin syringe so you get the right dosing. And from there, when you open them, you have 28 days that these are still good. After the 28 days, they're no good and you need to throw them out. So every time you go to give yourself a shot, you need to check the date on both for the expiration, which both of these are good. And if you decide to buy more than 1 insulin vial at a time, the other extras can be kept in the refrigerator. Otherwise, these are kept at room temperature. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and start how to do this. What you're going to do first is wash your hands. Always make sure you wash your hands. It's very important to keep sterile technique, and you want a sterile needle every time. Then you will clean the top of each vial every time to make sure it stays sterile. And then you'll roll the cloudy insulin and look at it and make sure there are no clumps or anything that looks abnormal about it, and look at the clear and make sure it's clear and no clumps in it. And then from there you will open your syringe, and for your doctor he wants you to have 30 units of cloudy insulin and 10 units of clear. So you will pull back 30 units of air into your syringe and make sure it's right under the line. And you will inject into your cloudy insulin and pull that out and make sure you don't touch any of the outside of that. And then you will inject 10 milliliters of air into your clear insulin. From there, you'll turn that upside down and you'll withdraw 10 units of your regular insulin. There may be bubbles in there at first, but you'll get better at it. And if there are bubbles, you can clap the syringe to get the bubbles out. So now that you have your 10 units of clear insulin, you'll inject it back into the cloudy and you'll pull back 30 units of cloudy insulin, which will be to the 40 because you already have 10 in there. So then you'll clap all the bubbles out. Okay, and now you're ready to inject it. When you choose a site, you either want to pick your stomach, the back of your arm, your thigh, or your buttocks. The best area is your stomach because that is the best distribution of the insulin. And when you're injecting, make sure you rotate sites and avoid scarring or like open wound areas. That would be a bad place to inject, so you wouldn't want to go there either. But the best place is your stomach, so if you can, pick there. And then you're going to need an antiseptic swab for that also, and you're going to clean your skin off. And you will pinch your skin or spread it depending on the amount of fat you have. You're thin, so you'll want to pinch it. And you will inject at a 45 or 90-degree angle, and do not aspirate the needle, which if you don't know what that is, it means pulling back on the plunger, and you don't want to do that, so you just inject right away. From there, you pull out the needle at the same angle that you injected it in, and you're all done with your injection. You put your needle in the sharps box, and wash your hands and put everything away. Room temperature for these again.
Okay.
And do you have any questions?
No, I don't. I'm okay.
No? Okay, well, I'm going to have you demonstrate for me
Okay.
to make sure I know that you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna first wash my hands, and then I'm gonna get my vials. I'm gonna make sure that I check the expiration date,
Mm-hmm.
and then I make sure that there's no, the NPH is always gonna be cloudy, so I'm gonna make sure there's no clumps in there, and I'm also gonna make sure my regular insulin is clear.
Right.
And there's no discoloration to it. I'll check that, and then I will make sure that I leave them at room temperature at all times. If I buy them in bulk, I'll put some inside the refrigerator and then take them out when I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And always make sure to discard them after 28 days. Next, I will go ahead and clean the tops of them. And I also mix the vials in between my hands. I will not shake them because that'll make it frothy and it'll be really hard to get the appearance of it. And this is after I already gathered all my supplies. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would first inject 10 units of air into the NPH insulin, or 30 units of air.
Okay.
And make sure that it's on a flat surface, and that's it.
Okay, let's see.
30.
Yep. Okay.
I'll inject the air first. I'll make sure to not contaminate my needle. I'll make sure to not touch the edges of it.
Mm-hmm.
Inject the air, and then I'll immediately withdraw it. And now I will make sure I withdraw. I pull back 10 units onto my syringe again, and then inject 10
Okay,
units of
good.
air into my regular insulin. And then I will make sure to withdraw 10 units next immediately.
Yep.
Make sure there's no bubbles. Then I will withdraw this immediately. And then I will go ahead and withdraw 30 units of NPH insulin,
Okay.
which would be down to the 40 because 10 plus 30 is 40. So I'd go down to the 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go ahead and clap if there are bubbles, but for right now, I'm just clapping a little bit to get one little one.
You can also flick it too if that
Okay.
isn't working for you.
Okay. And then once I am ready to inject it, I will pick a site that's in my abdomen because that's where it's going to be distributed most evenly in the best place. I'll always make sure that it's 2 inches away from my belly button.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure there's no moles, scars, tattoos, or any wounds. And I'll inject it at a 45 to 90 degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
And I will make sure to withdraw the needle at the same angle that I injected it with.
Right.
And I will also not aspirate the needle because I don't need to do that for this. And I won't massage the site. And I can apply a little bit of pressure if there's a little bit of blood. And then I will definitely dispose of my syringe and needle inside of a container or a local container that I find in my house. And then I'll put these back at room temperature.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. Any other questions for me?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, and I just have a pamphlet for you in case you would happen to forget any of the steps. They're listed here, and also here's the telephone number for the doctor's office. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call.
Okay.
And I think that's all. If you don't have any more questions,
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.